Today's guest really needs no introduction. I'm super excited to have on the podcast Robert Reffkin, CEO of Compass. We're going to talk about his story, which is an amazing story of founding Compass and then bringing it to the Texas market, where it's now the #1 brokerage. Welcome to the show. Well, I recently read your book, and then I've heard your story some other places. But for our audience, I was wondering if we can start with your story and kind of start from the beginning, because I think you have a fascinating story, Robert.
Absolutely. I'm originally from the Bay Area, San Francisco. My mom was from Israel, moved to New York, and then moved to San Francisco. My father was from Louisiana, and he was African American, and they met in Berkeley, California. She raised me as a single mother, and she was actually disowned by her parents for having an interracial relationship. And so she really just did it by herself. And so I saw her as an entrepreneur, someone who was an agent, first in life insurance, then as a real estate agent. And I saw her deal with rejection every day and move forward. Yeah, and it's just this kind of small family of two dreaming big every year about the things that we would accomplish together. And so she helped me apply to private high school, helped me apply for scholarships, helped me apply, of course, for college. And then when I moved back to New York City, to go to Columbia, she came to New York, and now she's actually a real estate agent at Compass.
Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah,
I think I saw on your Instagram that you were at her open house the other night or something.
Yeah,
recently.
Every Sunday I take my family to an open house to support our agents, and yesterday was her open house.
Oh, that's super cool. They're like, "Grandma, it's you." Did they know when they went to the open house?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you kind of had an entrepreneurial upbringing.
I did.
From the get-go. And I know you talked about your first business, your second business, I think, was Rude Boy Productions, like as a DJ.
Yeah, I was a DJ in high school, and I did a lot of the private school parties. I did bar and bat mitzvahs. I did even a wedding or so. And my friends were the heads of their dance committees at the different schools. Okay. So they would be the people that would hire me. Yeah,
and what was it like to make like $100,000 in high school?
It
was a lot of money. I mean, we were in high school around the same time. It was a lot of money back then.
It was a lot of money, but I think it was the first example where when you really love what you do and money doesn't come first, money follows, right? Like I didn't really do it for money. It was a business, but I loved it so much that it ended up being something I would do 4 days a week. And, it could be $250, even $500 per night. And yeah, I loved it. And then the money followed.
Yeah. So what was the song that like almost every time you played?
Well, so my secret was I had the Rude Boy Productions guarantee, which meant that I would promise you that I would play up to 25 songs that as long as you gave it to me a week in advance. And if I didn't play one of those, then you would get your money back. And the reason I was able to do that, I was one of the first people that got CD players as part of like the DJ mixing equipment. And those songs that you would ask for would generally be on the top 25 this, or the hits of the 80s, or the album Forrest Gump. It was a two CD disc.
Album, yeah.
They had so many songs on there that people liked. Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, so you would have probably almost every party. Yeah. Are you still into music today?
I am, but not as much as I used to be.
Okay.
I wish I could.
Like on your iPhone, though, is there a song that you like gravitate towards all the time?
No, there's not. I do like, I still like Bob Marley a lot.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's probably a more chill vibe.
Exactly.
After a very long day here.
Exactly. Help me go to sleep.
Yeah. Well, you're kind of a person who's like move fast. It's come with value. You're always on the go. One of the things that impressed me about your story was like your high school counselor said, don't bother applying to Columbia. You're not going to get in. And you said, no, I'm going to apply. And then you not only got in, but you did it in 2.5 years. Like, can you tell me about that, what that was like?
I went to Columbia and I wanted to graduate early. The reason why is I was paid for it.
Yeah.
Right. It was a lot of money. And so if you take more credits in a semester and you graduate earlier, you don't have to spend as much money. And so I thought that made sense. And it was also around a period of time where the internet bubble in the Bay Area, where some people weren't even going to college or graduating early. And I think it was Michael Dell, dropped out and started something. And so I thought it would just apply my efforts just to graduate earlier. Now, I wasn't the best student. I was a C student in high school and in college. But I was able to graduate.
Yeah, well, I have a friend that was like, D's get degrees. I was like, that's true. So, but I mean, that's like 20 or 30 credit hours every semester.
It was a lot. I was working as a work study. Yeah, so it was 20 to 40 hours a week in the business school. I was in the dean's office. Depending on which week, but it's closer to 20 usually. And I would just work there and do errands for the dean's office in the business school.
Wow. So that's kind of cool mentorship too that you got from the dean, because you already started to get exposure to leaders and how they think about things.
Yes, but I think it was also, I got exposure to seeing people that were in places where I wanted to be. Mm-hmm. And so when I was in college, I was spending a lot of time in the business school library and, walking past the business school, students. And I was like, that's where I want to go. And so it was inspirational. I think I was always looking for inspiration,
mm-hmm.
Whether it was, I was living in Berkeley and I decided to go to high school at what at the time was one of the best high schools in the Bay Area in San Francisco called University High School. But that was more than an hour each way of commute.
Wow.
And
it's a lot for high school.
Yeah, but it was amazing, right?
Yeah,
I felt every day.
Network.
Well, I just felt like I was going to the big city to change my stars. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then for college, I went to New York, and yes, it was Columbia, but it was really New York to make anything possible. Yeah, and so I think even like at Columbia undergrad in the business school, I've always tried to be around an environment where people dream big.
Mm-hmm. Where did you get that mindset?
My mom.
Okay.
When I was young, my first memories, every night when she put me to bed, she would say, don't have sweet dreams, have big dreams. Mm. And she told me to dream of all the wonderful things that I would be. She like real estate agents, every year, many agents are like, this is my best year ever. This is my best year ever. It's a very entrepreneurial, positive group of people. And she's one of those kind of personalities where she's 78 years old. She literally told me this year, this is going to be my best year ever.
That's so awesome. That's crazy.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, it's something that's fascinating to me. And I've always liked watching leaders and how they make decisions. And that's kind of a thread that you've always found leaders to look up to and get inspiration from. And then I think you founded a nonprofit kind of on the same vein of serving underserved or first generation college students. Is that correct?
I started a nonprofit called New York Needs You. It's now in 4 states. So we call it America Needs You. But it serves students who are first in their family to go to college and below the poverty line, giving them career development, college support, and 2 summer internships. And we have for each one of them a mentor coach who works with them every other week for the first year, and then a little less frequently for the second year to coach them through the process of from college to career.
Yeah, that's so impactful to think about it. Like reading the stats in your book, like I didn't realize that first generation college students did not always. I thought it was like, almost everybody makes it out of college, but apparently that's not the case.
Exactly. The idea was, if you're first in your family to go to college, that means it's very likely there's no one in your family that you can go to help you understand what are the common interview questions for your first job out of college, or what's that, the elevator test. And, someone's going to ask, what are your strengths or weaknesses in that interview? The first
never fail question.
Exactly. Yeah. And, you should be able to have someone around you to help prepare for those moments. So you're not going in for the first time without an understanding of what that interview is going to be like.
Yeah. So now your first job was at McKinsey, which is that elusive job that everybody wants. Like I know McKinsey is like a top tier firm. What was that like going there right out of school? And that was kind of a stepping point for your career, I think.
Yeah. At McKinsey, it's a consulting firm. And I was there for 2 years before going back to business school. I can tell you for certain, I realized at that point that the preparation in school really mattered. Yeah. I was around the smartest people that I had ever been around. It made it so when I went back to business school, I worked incredibly hard. Mm-hmm. I think it was the wake up moment where where I saw what the highest level of effort and talent and commitment was in the workplace. And I realized if I'm going to be successful there, when I go back to come to business school, I need to really, really focus.
Yeah. When I went to business school, the consultants were often very well prepared for the curriculum.
Yeah, they were very good.
Yeah. I was a veteran, and all the veterans were invited to math camp for grad school, because it was like, okay, like we're not sure if you'll be prepared. Like, we know you'll have the leadership part down, but let's make sure you can do the quantitative skills. None of the consultants were invited to math camp. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about founding Compass. So I think you founded Compass in 2012, and the original idea for Compass was actually a pitch to help you get a job in private equity. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, I was working at Goldman Sachs at the time, after also being a White House fellow before that, which is a program where I served as a senior advisor to the Secretary of the Treasury. And at Goldman Sachs, I was there for approximately 6 years, and I was looking for the next job. I could just tell that it was time to move on. And there's a person named Bayo Ogunlesi, who is a CEO of Global Infrastructure Partners.
Okay.
And I asked him if I could interview to work for him. And he said, okay, how about you do as part of the interview process, you develop 2 business ideas, and you put as much effort into that as you do into everything else, like the nonprofit that you started. And I started charter school as well, that he supported those efforts. He said, put a lot of effort into a new business idea. So I came back with 2 business ideas, one of which was Urban Compass at the time, which was a rental company powered by technology. And he said, great idea, go do it. And I said,
wait, what about the job?
Yeah, exactly. I was like, no, dude, this is part of the interview process, I thought. And he said, if you were my son, I would really push you to go off and try to start something. How about this? I'll be your first investor. I'll give you a reasonable amount of money. And if you fail in a year, come back and then I'll hire you.
Yeah.
And so he really pushed me to do something that I would never have done. I was just about to get married. I was about to have my first kid. I helped support my mother at the time. And so I didn't have that risk tolerance. All those life
things. It's like, whoa, yeah. I mean, it's risky starting a business.
Exactly.
What a blessing. To have the support, not just financially, but like almost intellectual capital behind you when you start a new endeavor.
Yeah. I my instinct was to say no, but when he said, "I'll be your first investor, and if you fail in a year, then I'll hire you," I was trying to come up with a reason why no, but it's like, actually, I can't. Okay.
Yeah. That's so awesome. And now here we are today, 11 years later. So we just had the 10th anniversary of Compass with a slightly different business model.
Yeah.
One of the things I love about Compass is the entrepreneurship principles. And there's the 8 entrepreneurship principles. I don't know when those came about, but I maybe you could talk about those a little bit.
Yeah, we have 8 entrepreneurship principles. We developed them about halfway into the company's life, 5 years in, when we realized they were getting bigger. And it'd be good to put something together so people knew what the culture of Compass was. But we didn't want it to be formal corporate principles.
Yeah.
And so we thought, what's really authentic? Okay, we're a company of entrepreneurs that serve entrepreneurs, real estate agents that are the largest group of entrepreneurs in the country, over 1 million strong, largest industry dominated by women, largest industry that pushes people in their 60s and 70s to grow and get better. People like my mom, doesn't push them out of the door. You can work as late as you like. An industry of families that work together. I'd say probably 10% of our top teams are families that are working together.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about. You have the husband and wife teams, or the son and daughter, or mom and daughter, teams.
It's such a great community. And so entrepreneurs building for entrepreneurs. And we set out to have 8 entrepreneurship principles. They're dream big, which means your dreams are the cap to your potential. You'll never be bigger than your dreams. So you might as well dream big.
Right.
2 is move fast. If you don't move fast, someone else will. 3, learn from reality. The greatest advantage you have in life is the speed at which you learn. So you have to learn fast. How do you learn fast? You look to your left, you look to your right at proven models of success and be the fastest integrator of proven ideas, not the first to come up with a new idea. You have be solutions driven, obvious. You have obsess about opportunity. You have collaborate without ego, which is, I'd say, one of the favorites of the company. Then you have, 2 more, maximize your strengths, which mean, a lot of people, they go to sleep at night thinking about what they did wrong that day, as opposed to thinking about what they're best in the world at. And we really try to encourage people to focus on their strengths and minimize their weaknesses, but maximize their strengths. And then lastly, bounce back with passion.
Yeah.
The entrepreneurial journey requires you to have failures. If you're not failing, you're not trying hard enough. And so when you fail, you have to bounce back with passion. And the way, at least I do that, when you had a really hard time, tough day, you have a new dream. And that new dream, just like the way my mom taught me when I was a little baby, that gives you the energy to go forward.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I love the entrepreneurship values. Bounce back with passion. In real estate, I think that's key, right? You could have a lot of mental, emotional, even financial, invested in things, and they could fall apart at the last minute. And the client still needs to be served. And so, bounce back.
I think the superpower of the entrepreneur, and for sure the real estate agent, is the ability to bounce back with passion. Most people don't have the ability to deal with rejection and still move forward. But agents are actually, they're almost like so good about it. It's almost like
second nature.
Because that's the nature of the transaction. There's so many things that don't go your way, and it's your job to help bring it from here and move it forward.
Right.
Are you a real estate agent listening to this podcast? Our team is growing. To find out more about joining a fun, service-minded team, go to hastingsre.com/careers. That's HAISTINGSRE.com/careers.
But after reading your book, I really thought more about move fast, because you also talked about moving fast means sometimes taking time to slow down and assess and be grateful. And I really liked that about your approach there.
I move. My favorite, I would say, I most admire bounce back with passion. Like when I see people do that, it's like, that's the America, that's Rocky Balboa, right? The best movies have there's someone who's trying, and then
comeback.
It's the great comeback. So I love that. But outside of that, collaborate without ego is that's my compass favorite. Dream big is my, that's the happy one. But I actually think learn from reality is the greatest way to create success that the fewest people do. Because it just means you're learning off of the shoulders of those that have come before you. But I do think a lot of people want to reinvent the wheel. There's a reason why people say don't reinvent the wheel. Because a lot of people want
the wheel already works.
Just the answer is so often in front of you. And I mean, think about what Compass is. My goal wasn't to reinvent the wheel. Now we're the largest brokerage firm in the country, 30,000 agents strong. We've invested over $1.5 billion into this technology platform for agents. We have things like Compass Concierge, where we front load the cost of home improvement services, staging, deep cleaning, cosmetic repair, for sellers and get paid out of the proceeds. We have what's viewed as the largest agent referral network in the country, where 10% of all of our transactions are our agents referring their clients to other agents. But we have Compass Coming Soons, Compass Private Exclusives. A lot of these things that we pursued and built were things that we observed in the industry, and we just said, how can we integrate them all into one single place for our agents and their clients?
Yeah. Well, that's something I wanted to also ask you about, is like a lot of tech companies and AI, they're invested in eliminating the agent. And Compass has taken the opposite approach, which is how can we enable agents and give them the tools and technology? What's your vision, like big picture, for how that technology is used?
We build technology to empower the agent's relationship with their client, not to replace it. I think there are technology companies that are using agents to power the technology by giving them listings and inventory, and then they're I would call that agent powered tech. We are trying to create and empower agents with tech, so tech powered agents. The goal is to build technology that allows you to reduce the non-core administrative and arts and crafts tasks.
Yeah. Okay, called arts and crafts. That's a good choice of words.
And give you more time to be with your clients or your family. So help you grow your business or have a better quality of life.
Yeah. You talked about time just a moment ago. Something I think about a lot, something I'm always wondering about with leaders is how do they allocate their time? It's a very scarce resource. And as a CEO of a major company, like what's one single tip you might give to an entrepreneur about time management?
Don't pursue work-life balance. And instead pursue work-life integration. I think a lot of people ask themselves about work-life balance, and I just haven't seen the end of that conversation that is happy.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's designed, it's like one of those mathematical problems that can never be answered. But work-life integration can be, where, as a kid, your mom can take you to the open house.
Right.
Called work-life integration.
Yeah.
And
as an adult, you can take your kids to the open house.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As an adult, you can take your kids.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you they will learn about work, about customer service, about excellence, about passion, about commitment, about doing what you say you're going to do. Although, I pursue in as many ways possible work-life integration with my wife, with my kids. And so we have dinner at our house several times every month where we invite agents and employees to our house on Friday. Every Sunday, again, I bring my family to open houses to support our agents. I've welcomed thousands and thousands and thousands of agents and employees to Compass with my kids in the background. My wife just told me that she says they roll my eyes when I do that. I had no idea.
Well, kids, they're straight shooters.
Exactly. I have to bribe them with ice cream. I'm worried that it's getting cold out because I don't know if they're going to want ice cream as much
ice cream
for the open houses.
Works. It always works.
But I just feel like work-life integration is actually a fun and happy exercise to think about, and that's what I pursue.
I think it's a great tip because balance is like one thing I always think about a balance. It's like you're describing how we can put everything in harmony where we can make it all work.
Yeah, like that work-life harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think harmony is together, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of hard work starting a company and then running a company as it grows. Like, how do you stay motivated day in and day out?
Well, it goes back, I think, to the entrepreneurship principles, dream big. And I believe I have to be as entrepreneurial as the agents I serve. Okay. I believe agents are my clients. I work for agents, not the other way around. And the standards are high because I see how above and beyond the best agents go for their clients. So I have to do that for them. Why do you think I call, agents to welcome them and employees every day? Why do you think I have those dinners at my house? Why do you think I travel on average 3 to 4 days a week to different cities in the country to meet with agents and employees? These are all client events, just like agents do. Yeah. And so I feel like I'm in the customer service business, the client service business, with the best client service professionals in the world. I'm like, I got to step up my game. Yeah. They're going all in. They're doing podcast. Now I need a podcast. What am I going to do?
We keep going. Yeah, that's true. There's always another level too.
And I think right now, look, challenges equal opportunity. Opportunity equals challenge. I think there's more. I think this market is your greatest opportunity, just disguised as a challenge, and same for Compass, because the majority of people have moved away from people. And we're not in the real estate business, we're in the people business. Right. And so while people are doing text messages, I'm doing phone calls. When people are doing video conference, I'm trying to meet people in open houses in the living room, right? Just like, this is a great opportunity to connect more with people. And that, in a way, is the challenge. How can you connect with more people than anyone else that you compete against? And I think the flaw of this environment over the last 3 years, which you're either going to benefit from it or you're going to be on the wrong side of it, is this sentence: well, I'm just as productive at home. I'm just as productive at home. And it's not about productivity, it's about connectivity. Whoever connects the most gets the most opportunity. Whoever connects the most grows the most. And so that's really the focus. People don't know people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Right.
But it's hard to show how much you care virtually.
My video producer and I were just talking about this yesterday when we were kind of running around New York City. It's like we think there's gonna be a backlash where people are gonna want to bounce back towards dealing with people more, because like customers have dealt so much with technology. And I use the example of like calling the phone company. Like it's brutal. You're like, I'll do the extra work to go to the store and talk to a person. And so I think my perception, and maybe you disagree, is that the society is going to move back towards like everybody will value that relationship more.
I really don't know. I've never seen so many talented people that I respect like opt out of connection and people. And,
right.
And I think it's just, I don't know what's happened, but I can tell you for certain, work from home is the greatest thing that's ever happened for people who aren't working from home.
Yeah.
Because like, where'd the competition go?
Yeah. Wait, where is everybody?
And so if I were an agent, my home office would be the dog park. My home office would be the coffee shop. It'd be the restaurant. It'd be where I drop my kids off to school and pick them up. It'd be where there's hundreds of people that I could interact with. That's where the opportunity is, the magic. My home office, what it would not be, is at home alone.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Yeah.
It's so the lure of staying at home, but you're saying it's also the lure of not working, not making connections.
Yeah, it just if we're what they say about real estate, we're not in the real estate business, we're in the people business.
Right.
And if that's true, it's the wonderful thing, because again, I think a lot of people are moving away from people. There's a lot of listing pages that you now see where in the agent remarks it says text, don't call.
Right. That drives me nuts. Yeah.
Yeah. Every once in a while you're on a text back and forth and you're like, if we could just pick up the phone for 20 seconds,
we could sort this all out. Yeah.
Just pick up the phone.
Just give me 2 minutes and we can resolve this issue.
Yeah, but it's
not 400 emails.
And it's hard to build trust virtually.
Yeah.
It's hard to collaborate virtually. You don't have the spontaneous moments of context sharing and ideation. And so that for me is the moment that we are in, is the opportunity created by the moment that we are in definitely in real estate, but in many professions, is to lean more into people when others are leaning out.
Yeah, that's such a great insight. Like I was in the Army, and in the Army it was all about people. People was the whole thing. And they'd never ever imagine like a scenario where you're like, oh, we'll just do our training from home. Like, no. Like, that's not how teams are built. At least that was their perspective.
Yeah.
I want to talk a little bit about Compass in Texas. So I'm based out of Texas. A lot of our audience is Texas. And I know you launched the Dallas market in 2017. Rumor has it you're a big fan of Texas, but what's the Compass vision for Texas?
Well, Texas, one of the most important markets in the country. I love all our markets.
Of course. It's a big state, though.
It's a big state. The vision is to have the best platform with the best people. The best technology with the best team, to be high tech, high touch, and be viewed as being collaborative, having the best culture, right? And so being selective. I think we're in an environment where a lot of the brokerage firms are moving away from in-person. There's more, we call it discount brokerages that we call them virtual brokerages, where they don't believe in office space. I believe heavily in office space,
right?
And because I believe in people and in-person connection. And so, also I think there's a lot of firms that have less standards. And so I think the opportunity for us, let's just say there's Motel 6 and there's Four Seasons. Opportunity to be more Four Seasons on the support and services to agents and their clients, but also being selective.
That's funny. That's the reason I joined Compass from another brokerage. Was I was using retail though. I was like, I don't really want to be at the Walmart of brokerages. I want to be at the Nordstrom of brokerages, because that's about service and adding higher level value and higher level advice. So it's not I use hotels, I use retail. I hear you're going to Texas next week. And going to the state fair. At least that's our local team's plan.
That's great. I'm going to be in Texas this week and next week.
Oh gosh.
This Thursday I'm in Austin, and then next week I'm going to be in Dallas, Austin, and Houston.
Wow, that is a crazy travel schedule.
I've always wanted to go to the state fair.
Yeah, it's next level in Texas.
I want to bring my kids. So that'd be a great example of work-life integration.
Yeah, that would be tons of fun.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Yeah. Everything is bigger in Texas too. And we were just commenting on the conference room here we're in the New York office. We're like, the rooms are a little bigger, and the Texas office is like, the state fair is definitely bigger and next level than other places.
I know the Park Cities office well. Like, it's really big and
it's
tall.
Beautiful.
It's big. Exactly. And I'm pretty sure you have at the state fair, because I talked to my kids about it, triple fried Oreos, triple fried Twinkies.
Yes. It's alarming the amount of fried food you can find at the Texas State Fair. A lot of our audience is Texas, or they're thinking about moving to Texas. Why would you say they should pick a Compass agent over another agent when they're making that move?
Well, first, Texas is one of the hottest markets in the country because it's a warm weather, low tax state.
Yeah.
And that's really been benefiting over the last number of years. But why use a Compass agent? If you're thinking about buying a property, we have a tool called Collections, where it's the only place where you can have a collaborative search. It's like a Pinterest board for real estate, where you, and if you're searching with somebody else, like your spouse, can work with the agent, and anyone can put in a listing, comment on it. When there's a status change or a price drop, you can see it all in one place. And you can use it before, during, or after the transaction, and even monitor it afterwards.
Yeah.
So that's one example. We have something called Tour Sheets, where you will have your entire tour in one single place digitally, and you could comment on there as well as you're going through the tour. We have our agents are able to spend more time with you as a buyer, and again, less time on the non-core tasks that take them away from their client activities, because we have more support and more tools. Then we also, to the extent you're thinking about another market, we're the number one brokerage firm in the country and number one in more top cities than any brokerage has ever existed. So if for some reason you're starting the search in Dallas, but you decide to switch to Austin, we can help you with that and connect you seamlessly through the same tools,
right?
And through the same company.
Yeah, I had a client who was referred to me, but she had been using a Compass agent in LA. And she says, oh, I get it. I know the Compass tools because my agent in LA is from Compass. And she really liked it and had a great experience. I think Collections is my favorite tool as an agent, but also from the collaboration with the client, especially somebody out of state that's moving somewhere else. Like, you can really do some pre-searching on there and curate their list. So when they get here, they're not wasting time.
In next year, early next year, we're launching the first version of the client portal, which will be basically an extension of Collections through all the way through the close of the transaction, with the timeline, the tasks, the live CMA, and everything else as part of the negotiation, all the forms, files, e-signature, listing agreement, everything in one place.
I'm super excited for that. Like, that's the mystery in real estate, is like, how do we make it seamless from end to end?
Exactly.
And that's obviously great for agents because it streamlines it for us. But I also think, as an agent, I think about the customer. You're thinking about me, the customer for Compass, but I'm thinking about the client, and that's going to be an amazing tool. So I'm super excited to see that launch. And I'm happy to sign up for the beta test in Texas.
All right. Well, our head of technology is right outside.
Okay, great. We've covered a lot of ground today, and I know you're a super busy man, so thank you for your time, Robert.
Thank you.
What's something you wish I would have asked you, or what else did you, anything else you want to share with our audience?
What I'm most proud of this year, and it's similar. Remember, what made the DJ business successful, it wasn't focused on money. It was what I loved, the people I worked with and the people that I was doing parties for. The same is true about Compass. And in a period of time where culture has been stolen from every company in the country and the world because of COVID, I am incredibly proud that we have brought our humanity back. Yeah. That we have brought our culture back into this company. And so thank you so much for being here today, because this is culture. Yeah. This is collaboration, connection, community. That's Compass. And so that's what I'm most thankful for and proud of at this moment. And what I'm most excited by for the future is, I believe that the future of real estate shouldn't just be tech or people. It should be both. And I love it. It's the ultimate reflection of collaborate without ego. And I think it's pretty clear from any agent at Compass, we've already built the best tech for agents. And now I think is to really double down on culture, community, when a lot of brokerage firms are becoming more virtual, less present. And so my dream, again, by the end of the next year, Compass is universally viewed. Of course, we have our client portal, but universally viewed as having the best technology and the best culture.
Yeah. And thank you for that, because I really value the culture here. I mean, it's super impactful as an agent. So thank you for your leadership on that front. And what an awesome goal. Again, thanks for your time, Robert. I really appreciate you joining me today.
Thank you. And I look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah, in Dallas. Awesome.
Have you been thinking about moving to North Texas? Maybe you're looking in Plano, Dallas, Frisco, or the surrounding communities. Each year, our team helps dozens of families make the move to Texas. We'd love to help you begin your journey. Learn more on our website at hastingsre.com. That's HAISTINGSRE.com.